Just getting some shares out here. If you're in here, we'll be going momentarily. Just a few more quick shares here, folks, and we'll be digging in. We've got a lot to talk about today. All right, it looks like we're ready to dive in.
You are watching Chaos Crypto News, the crypto news that you need.
What's happening, everybody? Chaos Crypto News here. And today we got an episode full of scams and hacks. Usually we just do the beginning of the episode talking about scams and hacks, but a good chunk of today's episode is going to be regarding that. So definitely lock in here because it's been a crazy day again in the markets. I mean, when is it not a crazy day in the markets, right? So first things I want to mention here, I'd just like to quickly let you know that none of this is financial advice. Do your own research and don't trust, always verify. Some exciting news for Quanzilla. Quanzilla has achieved yet another exciting and bullish milestone. Our partnership with XGC Labs is live. As an early adopter of XGC Labs, Qzilla is among a very short list of coins currently available to swap. We'll talk a little bit about XGC Labs and what they do in a minute here. But first, our paid to raid feature. So we essentially pay you to do raiding and you earn in Qzilla. So our weekly payout chart is live in our announcement section on our Telegram. Raiders on the leaderboard can request payouts in Qzilla on either XRPL or BNB, and you can trade the BNB wrapped Qzilla on PancakeSwap too. If you haven't jumped in yet, head over to www.quanzilla.online, join our Telegram community, and get paid to raid. Also, verify our coin addresses there because we do have impersonators, so be careful and don't get scammed. It's a real bad look on the whole market with all the scams and hacks and everything going on. Also, make sure you check out my YouTube at KhaosDubz for crypto games content, some scam investigations, XCC and Cardano deep dives, interviews, more news segments, and a whole lot more. You can find links in the description below on YouTube for some of the stuff I'm talking about and some other awesome stuff. And make sure you like, share, subscribe, and follow. Let's get into it here. So one thing you can do for us too, if you like the Qzilla project, you can head over to Dex Screener and hit that rocket. We're nearing 500. It's pretty exciting. We have a thriving community and a whole lot on the go behind the scenes. So definitely stay tuned for some upcoming announcements and exciting stuff. Now let's talk just a little bit about XGC here. So XGC, they say one swap to rule them all. Seamless XRP and RLUSD swaps, staking and rewards coming soon. Security first, innovation always, and apparently XGC is the only swap you need. It says here you can swap your XRP for CMAI with unmatched speed and ease, the simplest swap ever on XRPL. CMAI is another XRPL token, obviously. And Qzilla is a part of this. Like I was saying, as you see here, Quanzilla coin is now live on XGC swap. And essentially what you can do is swap between meme coins on XRPL without having to go back to the XRP base layer in between. And apparently the swaps are very quick and efficient. So definitely check that out. Like I said, we're an early adopter there. So as things grow, it's going to become a household name, it sounds like, for people investing in XRP and XRPL tokens. First bit of hacking scamming news today. Monero mining malware hidden inside popular game torrents. So if you're a pirate, this could affect you. Hackers launched a mass infection campaign to distribute a Monero mining program that could be activated remotely. The hackers delivered the mining payload via popular game torrents and primarily targeted gamers, as gaming PCs commonly tend to have stronger processors with more than 8 cores. Hackers launched a mass infection campaign of popular game torrents like Gary's Mod, Dyson Sphere Program, and Universe Sandbox to distribute Monero mining applications. The hackers specifically picked games requiring minimal disk space. The hackers delivered the mining payload via a cracked game installer. Often, such cracked installers require users to turn off their antivirus to install. The campaign was referred to as Stary Dobry. Kaspersky mentioned that the infections were initially detected in January of 2025. However, the campaign started much earlier in December of 2024. The Monero mining program targets processors with 8 cores and above. If the processor has less than 8 cores, the mining program will not be activated. To further this, Kaspersky has reasons to believe that a Russian group is behind the malware, as some of its files use the Russian language. Also, a greater number of infections were reported within Russia. And it's only targeting programs that are a small footprint on your hard drive, interestingly enough. Not sure how that benefits them, but definitely something to keep in mind there. Now we're going to talk about hackers draining bank accounts in a new global attack on Apple and Google Android devices. So there's always new attack vectors. Criminals are generally always one step ahead. And I mean, you always got to be super careful. But veterans of the internet will recognize the attack vector they're using here as something to pay attention to, whereas many new users may have never heard of this type of scam essentially being used. So hackers are reportedly draining bank accounts and stealing smartphone users' credentials using a new and highly effective technique. Cybersecurity researchers say criminals are now sending text messages that appear to be from banks and delivery services with malicious PDF files attached. The PDFs either contain links that exploit security flaws and install malware, or links that send users directly to fake bank websites, enticing people to enter their login details. Victims across the US, Germany, and the UK have already suffered financial losses after the opening of the fraudulent PDFs. Although SMS phishing and email-based PDF attacks have existed for years, the tactic of sending malicious PDFs directly via SMS texts is a new twist to the whole situation. So definitely, again, don't trust, verify. You know, if you get a link to a website, it's better to always not click the link and go to the website yourself through a web browser by typing it in. That goes with emails, with text messages, with links people send you in messaging services like Telegram. You have to be extra aware, folks, because all it takes is one slip up and you may be at risk. Now, scam that I've been talking about for a little while here, the Pi network. Well, we're going to dig into this a little bit more. This is days of this as, you know, it launches to mainnet. So let's kind of see what's going on here. So Pi network is a scam, claims Bybit CEO amid controversy. And I agree 100%. It is a total data harvesting scam. Pi network's record-breaking airdrop has reignited controversy, with Bybit CEO Ben Zhu drawing attention to past warnings from Chinese authorities labeling the project a scam. While Pi enthusiasts celebrate the long-awaited mainnet launch and its massive $12.6 billion token distribution, critics remain vocal. China's law enforcement, which accused Pi network of operating like a pyramid scheme, preying on unsuspecting users, particularly the elderly. The warning described deceptive tactics, including misleading claims of free mining through a mobile app, aggressive recruitment incentives, and even selling personal data. Bybit has firmly refused to list Pi, and Zhu made it clear that his skepticism is personal as well as professional. His response came after Pi supporters mocked him online, prompting him to double down on his view that the project lacks legitimacy. Other exchanges have also faced scrutiny over potential Pi listings. When OKX suggested it might add the token, users quickly pointed out that such a move could provoke backlash from Chinese regulators. Meanwhile, Binance launched a community vote on the issue, with a majority supporting the listing, though opposition remains strong. If you look at Pi or Pi scam or anything really related to this on YouTube, for example, you'll see that there are essentially very few to basically none, no channels that have any real information. Most of them are AI slop shit channels that just have regurgitated information. It's like a lot of words, but they're not really saying anything. And a lot of them have the AI writing the script, speaking the script, as well as getting all the stock footage for the videos put together. And the ones that are real, that are not scam channels, are from people who are not well-known crypto influencers, first of all. And secondly, they're often from poorer countries. So I find if you look at the comments, you'll see that pretty much everybody in the comments is from poorer countries, and they're just waiting to dunk the Pi, thinking that they're going to get something out of nothing, essentially, which when it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. So keep that in mind. That being said, PiCoin dipped 60% despite anticipated top exchange listings. This is exactly what I was calling for the other day before it launched. Everyone was going to dunk because, again, the comments, everyone's saying the same thing. And I mean, if you have a bunch of Harvard graduates and it's taken them 6 years to launch this, then, why is anybody from Harvard getting a job? Obviously they suck or they're stupid or, maybe the whole thing is just a sham. PiCoin has plummeted over 60% after its mainnet launch, sparking debates within the community. PiCoin price trades at 63 cents currently, a huge 61% decline in the past 24 hours. The mainnet debut introduced fresh optimism, which heightened upward price movements. Hours after the launch, the asset hit a high of $2.10, marking a 45% high amid an 1,800% spike in trading volume. At the moment, PiCoin's market cap is $4 billion, down from $7 billion yesterday. Despite the nosedive, holders remain optimistic for a higher jump, citing potential top exchange listings, and so far Coin, DCX, and OKX have announced support for the asset, but users anticipate similar actions from Binance and Coinbase. What happened to the whole Pi was supposed to be $60 or $80 on the IOU, and it's exactly what I was saying, is the IOU is not related to the price of the actual Pi token because Pi was not released on mainnet. And then, of course, when it releases, the coin is nowhere near the value of the IOU because it's just simply not the same thing. Speculation is definitely a good way to drive investment, but speculation doesn't really have any fundamentals to it. And again, 6 years, Harvard graduates to launch this with so many pushbacks. I have no faith. I didn't give them my KYC information. And if you did, I wouldn't be surprised if you were able to find that information available on the dark web through one of those services that can check the dark web, I guess, for your address. Some YouTubers are advertising that. I also wouldn't be surprised to see if you, possibly have issues with any of the information that you gave them, such as maybe identity theft or fraud of some sort happening. So definitely pay attention to that if you did KYC with Pi. Got another Pi article to talk about here. Pi Network urges caution as fake tokens infiltrate DEXs amid scam allegations. Holy moly. This shit is just blowing up. This is definitely one of the top stories of today. In the February 20th statement, the team clarified that all Pi trading pairs currently listed on these platforms are unauthorized and could be part of scams designed to deceive investors. Pi Network has not approved any token listings on any DEXs. The warning stressed that any Pi token available on DEXs at the moment is indeed illegitimate. Instead, Pi Network recommended trading only on centralized exchanges that have successfully passed KYC and KYB verification processes. The network identified OKX, BitGet, and Gate.io, as well as PiNX as the only approved platforms. Fake Pi tokens emerging on various DEXs and meme token launchpads like Pump.fun have definitely fueled these allegations. Notably, a Pi-branded meme token launched on Pump.fun more than a week ago saw its market value collapse after the official Pi token went live. Based on data from Pump.fun, its market cap plunged from $5 million to roughly $112,000. At the same time, the real Pi token has also suffered a sharp price drop, obviously. This dramatic decline is likely driven by intense sell pressure from long-term miners who have been accumulating asset for over 6 years. It just sounds like a whole bunch of incompetence and a reason to get you to give them your KYC information. If you're part of Pi, you'll notice If you join into the app, you'll see that it's trying to force users to get their KYC done quick, because otherwise you'll lose your pie. It's all FOMO. It's all designed to make you fear the loss and then essentially get you in an emotional state so you're not thinking clearly, and then you give them your information, which is then likely sold to the highest bidder. And I know a lot of proponents will argue, well, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok are all also selling your data. I mean, sure, you're the product for sure. That's why they're free to use. But I think there's like a bit more of an air of legitimacy to Facebook and all this other stuff versus Pi Token, which has just consistently fell flat, in my opinion, and many others. Moving on here today, this isn't directly crypto related, but it absolutely ties into what we're talking about. RCMP alleged 2 Toronto residents defrauded hundreds of Canadians in multi-million-dollar phone scam. Now, I know most people watching are probably from the States, but the Kizula dev team is Canadian, and we do have a lot of crypto investors in Canada, as well as Canada is taking some moves to reduce the pressure on the crypto space and allow more adoption to take place. So as much as Canada doesn't have a huge population and some of the larger exchanges have left due to regulatory bullshit, Canada still does have a thriving crypto ecosystem. Now, 2 Toronto residents are facing criminal charges after allegedly defrauding hundreds of Canadian victims out of millions of dollars. Federal police say they believe the two used technology to hide their phone numbers, deceiving people into thinking they were speaking with their bank, a government employee, or police staff. Cybercrime investigators raided the suspect's residence, seizing a trove of items, including electronic devices. Police said in a press release, the RCMP says they are aware of 570 victims of the phone scams and hope more will come forward now. Shakib Mansouri and Majduleen Alua, classic Canadian names, they face charges including fraud, unauthorized use of computer, laundering proceeds of crime, unauthorized possession of credit card data, and possessing the proceeds of crime. Mansouri and Alua are believed by police to be among the world's most active subscribers on a website called ispoof.cc, which allowed criminals to impersonate corporations by displaying a fake caller ID. And thankfully, because of Justin Trudeau's absurdness, criminals are essentially in part of a revolving door prison system. So when they do get caught, they get released fairly quickly, and law-abiding Canadian citizens are often the ones to take the brunt of the punishment, and not necessarily by being charged, but the process is the punishment. That being said, in good news, I did mention the other day, Canada has had a whole bunch of issues with the government trying to take guns and allegedly send them to Ukraine because they're weapons of war. Well, those guns include 22s and 9mm carbines, just because they look scary or are made of plastic. So about 2 weeks ago, there was a home invasion, I believe it was in Ontario, if I'm not mistaken, and 4 people invaded the home of two people, a couple in their 30s, with guns, and the couple in their 30s retaliated by shooting 3 of the 4 home invaders and killing 2 of them on the spot. Generally, when stories like that happen in Canada, what we tend to see is, the home invaders generally, yes, sure, they'll get arrested or whatever. Often they're not found if they get away, right? But the people that defended their lives from a life-threatening situation are often put through the ringer, charged, and then having to go through, court proceedings, which generally take years, and also pay for lawyers, which cost tens of thousands of dollars, all the while having their names slandered, which definitely isn't a great thing. In this case, though, things appear they may be turning around because the homeowners were briefly arrested, then they were released unconditionally as investigations are pending, but they were not charged with a crime. If police stop charging people who have the right to defend themselves in their home in threat of their own life, and judges stop prosecuting the cases where police do charge law-abiding citizens defending themselves, the criminals are going to have a wake-up call real quick because things are going to change. The closest thing they have to self-defense laws in Canada is castle law, which is kind of crazy. But I mean, this is just further proving that point and hopefully making some criminals rethink their actions. Crime doesn't pay. Moving on here, this is today's top story. $1.4 billion has been drained from crypto exchange Bybit as hackers crack the Ethereum contract address. This is crazy, folks. An Ethereum cold wallet was hacked, and we're going to talk about how it happened. The Singapore-based crypto exchange Bybit said it suffered a major security breach involving its ETH cold wallet. CEO Ben Zhao says the breach happened when an ETH transfer to a warm wallet was manipulated through a sophisticated attack. Bybit ETH multi-sig cold wallet just made a transfer to our warm wallet about 1 hour ago, he says. It appears that this specific transaction was musked. All the signers saw the musked UI, which showed the correct address, and the URL was safe or was from safe. However, the signing messages was to change the smart contract logic of our ETH cold wallet. This resulted, the hacker taking control of the specific ETH cold wallet. We signed and transferred all the ETH in the cold wallet to this unidentified address. Please rest assured that all other cold wallets are secure and all withdrawals are normal. Funds are safe, he says. The hackers are already moving and selling the funds, of course. Bybit says it's working with blockchain forensic experts to investigate and try to recover the stolen funds. The hack will rank among the largest in crypto history, folks, well surpassing the $473 million hack of the early Bitcoin exchange Mt. Gox in 2014. I mean, that's well surpassing is right. You know, that's orders of magnitude larger. It gets crazier today, folks, believe it or not. But so a woman was sentenced to nearly 10 years in prison for $5.7 million fraud against Bybit. Wow. Bybit's in the news 3 or 4 times today too. Crazy. A Singapore court sentenced Ho Kai Zin to almost 10 years in prison for embezzling $5.7 million from Bybit, while handling payroll nonetheless. She manipulated payroll records to divert funds into her own crypto wallets and used the stolen money to finance a lavish lifestyle before being caught. Meanwhile, SafeMoon CTO Thomas Smith pleaded guilty to securities and wire fraud conspiracy for his role in a scheme that allegedly siphoned over $200 million from investors. SafeMoon CTO pleads guilty to crypto fraud. Well, the CTO of SafeMoon, Thomas Smith, also recently pleaded guilty to securities fraud conspiracy and wire fraud conspiracy in a case that U.S. prosecutors allege involves a multi-million-dollar crypto fraud scheme. Smith appeared before Magistrate Judge Cheryl Pollack to withdraw his initial not guilty plea. Judge Pollack recommended that U.S. District Judge Eric Comedy accept the new plea, which carries a potential sentence for up to 45 years in prison. This includes 20 years for wire fraud conspiracy and 25 years for securities fraud conspiracy. Authorities allege that the trio misled investors by falsely claiming that SafeMoon's liquidity pool was locked, which prevented them from accessing funds. In reality, prosecutors say they were able to access the liquidity and siphon more than $200 million for personal use, including the purchase of luxury vehicles and real estate. I read an article, was it 2 days ago when I did my last news video here, and it was essentially saying that the SEC will not protect investors in the case of losses trading meme coins, which I just think that whole thing is hilarious because like the SEC's there fucking with Coinbase and Binance and mainly Ripple and XRP, right? When they don't want to dirty their hands or bother taking the time to actually protect investors from like really slimy shit that's happening in the markets, which is kind of crazy. Is it all that surprising though? I mean, when you start to look at it, if, you know, XRP and Ripple wasn't poised to do what it's supposed to do, if it wasn't really in play and working, you really think the SEC would go after it? I don't. I think that whole thing is a sham, and I believe the lawsuit is fake. Gary Gensler had tenure at MIT teaching about cryptography and cryptocurrency, so he kind of knew exactly what was going on the whole time. It's all FUD. It's all a look over there while we do something over here type of situation. And, you know, that being said, I mean, the whole thing is just ridiculous. Why aren't you stopping actual scams or at least, you know, stepping in when, you know, the SEC essentially themselves admitted, hey, yeah, you know, we see this shit's going sideways, but we're not stepping in because it's not really our jurisdiction, you know. Get a life, you guys, for real. Moving on, we got more hacks and scams to talk about today, which is just bananas. It just never ends, right? Norwegian prosecutors target 4 in alleged $80 million crypto Ponzi scheme. Norwegian authorities have charged 4 men with running an $80 million crypto investment fraud, allegedly laundering the funds through a law firm's accounts. So apparently the Norwegian authorities and Ethereum's layer 2 platform Abstract are both dealing with significant financial incidents. In Norway, 4 men have been charged with orchestrating the $80 million fraud, allegedly laundering funds through the law firm's accounts, as stated. Meanwhile, Abstract is investigating reports of a wallet drain affecting some users, with early findings pointing to a third-party application rather than a flaw in its core infrastructure. Wasn't a whole lot more information to dig into there, so we're going to move on. Holy crap, really haven't seen this guy's face in a while. If you've been around in the crypto space for more than a couple of years, you'll recognize this whole debacle. And it's coming back to light for maybe the wrong reasons, although I'm not convinced that what he's hoping for is going to happen. So the defunct FTX mogul, Sam Bankman-Fried, also known as SBF, eyes Trump pardon for escape from a 25-year prison sentence. Sam Bankman-Fried, once the crypto king with a $32 billion valuation, is now serving a 25-year sentence after being found guilty of fraud and misusing customer funds. But even from behind bars, he isn't giving up. He's shifting the political side from Biden to backing Trump. With the aim of a presidential pardon, could he walk free like the Silk Road founder? Bankman-Fried now claims that FTX was never actually bankrupt. Speaking from his jail cell on a phone interview with the New York Sun, he insisted that there were enough funds to pay back customers in full as early as November 2022. According to him, the real problem began when external debtors stepped in, slowing the process. Bankman-Fried straightly accused law firms Sullivan and Cromwell for mishandling the situation and delaying repayments. Perhaps even more surprising than his financial claims is his sudden shift in political allegiance. Once a major donor to the Democratic Party, Bankman-Fried is now criticizing Biden and throwing his support behind Donald Trump. His parents are reportedly pushing for it too, making sure Trump sees him as a victim of a politically motivated case. Polymarket's prediction platform suggests that Bankman-Fried could receive a presidential pardon from Trump within the first 100 days of his potential governance. Could a pardon bring Bankman-Fried back? I'm having my doubts personally. With Trump's history of granting unexpected pardons, some believe Bankman-Fried's plan might actually work. But even if he walks free, would the crypto world ever trust him again? I mean, probably, because this stuff keeps happening. I was talking about Dave Portnoy's crypto social experiment the other day where he launched a coin called Greed and essentially told people not to invest. And it rugged right away because he pulled out his whole investment. Only later to launch Greed 2, which I haven't followed up on, but I'm sure he is going to rug that one as well. And that comes amid a slew of scandals and rug pulls happening involving President Nieli of, I can't remember which country that is off the top of my head at the moment. It's somewhere in South America, I believe. And Portnoy was also involved in that, as well as Barstool, which is apparently the only one that Portnoy, or Stool Jail, I guess is a token, but is the only one that Portnoy said that he was not going to dunk on, where he's dunking on all these other ones, I guess. It does sound like he did take a loss on Libra as well, though. The market is just the Wild West, folks. You really got to be careful out here. But for now, the disgraced FTX founder remains in prison where he should be, because I really don't think he should get a second chance. During that whole thing, I was following it, and his girlfriend, Carolyn Ellison or whatever, was saying, oh yeah, we don't use stop losses because, you don't really need them or whatever. And she kind of laughs. Money was funneled to a separate company, against regulations and against what they were saying, how the company operates. The whole thing is just an absolute freaking disaster. A few more stories here today, bit of a shorter episode, but we're talking about Solana now. So Solana sees a 40% decline in user activity as meme coin rug pulls erode trust. You don't say. People are getting sick of getting fucking rug pulled. Rug pulls and insider schemes involving Solana-based meme coins are driving investor outflows and a decline in capital inflows as confidence in the sector deteriorates. Solana's price fell over 29% during the past month, while Ether's price fell over 15% and Bitcoin fell 7%. Solana user activity is also in decline. The number of active addresses on the network fell to a weekly average of 9.5 million in February, down nearly 40% from the 15.6 million active addresses in November of 2024. The Libra token, as I was just kind of talking about before there, was endorsed by Argentine President Javier Milei. There you go, Argentina. The project's insiders allegedly siphoned over 107 million worth of liquidity in a rug pull, triggering a 94% price collapse within hours and wiping out $4 billion in investor capital. And that happened super, super fast. And of course, President Milei, he essentially said, oh, it's because of some other government and it's their fault. It's always never anybody's fault who's involved in this shit neck deep, right? As confidence of Solana weakens, millions of dollars worth of crypto is being transferred from Solana to other blockchains, signaling a potential capital exodus that may turn into a net positive for the blockchains long term. To note that, I did an article the other day as well where, a lot of that money is going into BNB because BNB apparently has better reputation through users not getting rugged, as well as BNB has been around a long time. It's also quite fast and efficient. However, these issues on Solana may turn into a net positive for Solana's growth in the long term, according to a February 18th X post from blockchain researcher ILO. This washout will end up being a very good thing in the long term. Standards need to go up. Bad actors need to be removed. That is the truth. If the SOL price and other L1 token prices are solely held up by gambling activity, then the space will stay quite small and larger valuations won't be justified, he added. There's a talk about how with, Solana Pump.Fund, they're pumping out literally millions of meme tokens, that it's diluting the overall value of the crypto bull market and causing fear in people, which is slowing down or possibly hindering the bull run that we're in. Although I think dinosaur tokens, as people like to call them, XRP, HBAR, Algo, stuff like that, that's been around for a while, that's well vetted. I think these tokens aren't going to see such issues due to having a better overall reputation in the cryptocurrency space. Now, something interesting here, the SEC has approved first interest-bearing stablecoin in the US, offering a 3.85% yield to verified holders. Not a whole lot to talk about, but interesting that things are changing, times are changing, and we have people who are of more common sense involved in regulating this kind of stuff now. The SEC has approved the first interest-bearing stablecoin registered as a security in the US. Figure Markets YLDS stablecoin, pegged to the US dollar, offers a 3.85% yield and operates under SEC oversight. Unlike other major stablecoins such as Tether and USD Coin, which generate interest from reserves but do not distribute it to holders, YLDS allows users to earn daily interest while maintaining liquidity. Figure Markets CEO Mike Cagney sees this as a major shift in financial services, questioning the need for traditional banks when digital assets can provide similar benefits. Speaking of traditional banks, times are changing, folks. If you didn't see my episode a few days ago, 100% of internal transactions in Bank of America are using Ripple and XRP right now. That kind of adoption is absolutely crazy. That should be front page news, but it's kind of not being talked about as much as I believe it should be. That is so bullish, folks. Now, 6 reasons why this finance expert dumped his Ripple XRP holdings. Gary Cardone apparently has sold his XRP positions. Before we dig into this, I want to touch on that quick. You may know his brother, I believe it's his brother, Grant Cardone, who is a well-known investment personality, if you will, I guess. He's also one of the guys that essentially scams people for money out of these courses. He charges $10,000 or more for a seat at his table, at his conferences or what have you, and he's all about the 10X life. Even I got wrapped into that several years ago. And the whole thing is just like a circle jerk of essentially people who are, I don't know if brainwashed is quite the correct word, but have been manipulated by clever talking and essentially manipulating data and information to try to get you to believe that this is all true. He was even on Who Wants to Be a Billionaire or whatever, where, people start with nothing. The billionaires, I should say, start with nothing and see how hard it is to try to raise $1 million within a month or 3 months or whatever it is. There's no actual proof that Grant Cardone himself is a billionaire. But anyways, enough about Grant Cardone. We're going to talk about Gary Cardone. So the person in question here is the finance expert, Gary Cardone. He revealed to his 76,000 followers on X that he dumped his XRP holdings when the asset's price was hovering at $2.71. The American also outlined 6 reasons driving his choice. And we're just going to quickly go through what his 6 things are here. So first, he said he doesn't understand the asset's supply-demand dynamics. To the uninitiated, XRP has a total supply of 100 billion coins, 57% of which are currently in circulation. Ripple Labs holds a significant amount of tokens and releases 1 billion tokens each month via its escrow system. And if you're not really familiar with how that works, you invest in XRP, it's good to look into. It's actually pretty interesting how and why all that operates the way it does. Second, Cardone claimed others couldn't explain those dynamics in a very understandable way and couldn't draw it on a whiteboard. I mean, I could fucking draw it on a whiteboard. This guy wants something explained so simply, and it is pretty simple, but I mean, overall, cryptocurrency is somewhat complicated, right? Your average, everyday person who doesn't understand, anything about computers necessarily, like they're not, tech savvy, they may not be finance savvy, these people may not understand it, but it can still be explained relatively easy on a whiteboard, in my opinion, by anyone who does understand it, right? And if you look at the adoption, which we're talking a little bit about here in this article, the writing's on the wall. But anyway, third, he thinks people should stay away from an ecosystem full of people who know the price of everything but the value of nothing, as he claims towards XRP maximalists. It is worth noting that the Ripple community is indeed full of members who make ridiculous price predictions that are not based on technical analysis or any sort of thorough research. That's FUD in my opinion, and I believe that he hasn't done any thorough research. The writing's on the wall, Excuse me. His fourth point, finance expert warned investors never to confuse short-term noise with a long-term investment plan or goal. His fifth reason states that real wealth is made by highly consolidated bets and investments that are made over long periods of time. Lastly, he argued that people should never follow the crowd. Yes, but contrary to Cardone's reasonings, there are some factors that suggest exiting the ecosystem right now might not be the wisest move. And I'll tell you right now, it's not. Not financial advice, but selling your XRP right now is dumb. First, we have a bunch of well-known companies such as Grayscale, Bitwise, and 21 Shares competing to launch the first spot XRP ETF in the United States. The US SEC has already acknowledged those applications. Furthermore, it recently posted Grayscale's filing to the Federal Register, which means it has to give its final say on the product by October 18th. Next on the list is the potential resolution of the lawsuit, the fake lawsuit, may I add, between Ripple and the US SEC. I mean, there's so much going on. Payment rails have been in place for Ripple technology and XRP for over 10 years to pretty much every country, every institution. It's all happening. Nobody's going to come in now after having XRP Ledger being up, and the uptime has been pretty damn good. Like there's been basically no downtime other than very small incidents where consensus wasn't agreed upon for a short time, but it didn't go down like Solana, really. Like XRP is way more stable than Solana. And, nobody's going to come in and make a new coin to try to take over this whole world reserve currency type of payment thing when Ripple's been there. They've been doing it. They've been researching, and they've also spent, hundreds of millions of dollars fighting the SEC to provide that regulatory clarity that we so need in this industry. So I think we're pretty safe to say XRP is going to be the one implemented in those cases. A few more articles to talk about today here. So Hedera, HBAR, bleeds 17 million in outflows, threatening the 20-cent support. Over the past week, Hedera has recorded steady outflows from its spot market, signaling a lack of confidence among market participants. With investors pulling out over 17 million in the last 7 days, according to CoinGlass data, the altcoin has seen just one inflow during this period, with $1.78 million being recorded on January 19th. Spot outflows occur when an asset's investors withdraw their capital from the spot markets, typically by selling their holdings and moving funds elsewhere. HBAR's consistent outflows suggest a bearish market sentiment as traders prefer to exit their positions rather than accumulate more of the asset. If you've been in crypto a while, folks, this is FUD. Hedera HBAR is the only, as far as I know, company that is working on quantum resistant semiconductors to help stop quantum attacks. Other people will tell you, quantum attacks are super far away or 10, 20 years away or what have you. Well, I read an article the other day that says that may not be the case because Microsoft has developed an entirely new form of matter. There's generally solid, liquid, and gas, so the three states of matter that we're familiar with. Well, the longest running project at Microsoft has developed a new form of matter other than solid, liquid, or gas, and that is allowing them to make leaps and bounds in the quantum computer technology sphere by saying instead of it being, decades away, it's going to be maybe just years away before a quantum computer is capable. And now you got to remember too, it's like the military, right? They're going to tell you stuff, but they're not going to tell you stuff right away. Again, you're their competition. So the military, they've had drones for way longer than they ever told people that they've had drones, right? And it's like, hey, well, then we had consumer drones come out years ago. Well, they already had drones in the military that were beyond consumer grade many years before drones ever came out to the public. It's kind of the same thing here, right? Microsoft isn't going to lay all its cards out on the table. Just because they say it could be years now instead of, decades or many years. Things are probably happening pretty quick. And I believe that's why HBAR is working on the quantum resistant semiconductors, because they know something's up. These bigger players, you are the competition. They're not going to tell you how to, outsmart the game to win the game and to become a higher level of competition for them when they can essentially just steamroll retail traders. Now, Ukraine apparently denies blocking Trump's Truth Socials because it says it was never available. Not a whole lot to talk about here, just interesting with the developments that we've been seeing in the news, Trump's comments about Ukraine and trying to kind of bring Russia down and de-escalate a little bit. Following this, President Trump's controversial remarks about Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, which he essentially was saying He's a dictator, and why can't he have an election during a war? The Ukrainian Minister of Foreign Affairs spokesperson dismissed reports that Trump's social media platform Truth Social is banned in Ukraine. Numerous social media users claimed they were unable to access Truth Social, encountering a message that read, "Currently unavailable in your area." Many speculated that Zelensky's government had banned the platform. It's just not the case, folks, because again, it was never actually available in Ukraine there. Now, our final article today, before we wrap up here, Elon Musk to scale up graphics resolution for Grok to do better than AAA games. If you haven't heard, there are AI engines currently being used to recreate playable games, such as, what's that popular one everyone's always playing? War game. It's not Doom. It's like Call of Duty or whatever that people used to play all the time. Can't believe I can't remember off the top of my head, but maybe I'll remember before the end of this article. But anyway, there was already a demo that Mudahar from Some Ordinary Gamers showed. That was like several months ago already. And that was playable, although it wasn't totally perfect and things kind of hallucinated a little bit. That was super early. As you know, technology is exponential, and as things increase, it doesn't happen in longer time frames. Time frames keep getting shorter and shorter, and the increase in computing power and capabilities are exponentially higher and higher on these shorter time frames. I can't believe I can't remember this game. It's not Doom, and there's a acronym for one of them that a lot of people play these days. But anyways, whatever. Let's talk a little bit more about this. Tesla CEO Elon Musk says his artificial intelligence company xAI plans to improve the capabilities of its latest model Grok 3 to scale up graphics resolution for developers to build games better than AAA titles. On Friday, internet personality Mario Nawfal shared a video on social media platform X in which a developer reportedly generated an asteroid-style shooter game simply by describing it in plain English. The video originated from Dan Kettlebell, an ex-employee and co-founder of Kettlebell Crew Collectibles, who mentioned that Grok handled all aspects of the game, including HTML structure, game logic, and score tracking. AI isn't just writing code, it's making coding completely optional. Musk said that Grok 3 could easily create the game with basic instructions because it's already capable of vastly better NPC dialogue. That's a super exciting thing too. I know some people have integrated AI large language models into things like Skyrim, and it's giving a whole new essentially experience to dealing with NPCs in games. Instead of the same regurgitated few lines, you get actual interactions and actual conversations with the NPCs. And I think that into the future is going to be a huge catalyst for gaming mass adoption in the crypto space. So still, the billionaire CEO did not make it clear if this applies only to games generated within Grok itself, or if the technology could extend to existing games as a separate tool, similar to NVIDIA's Deep Learning Super Sampling, DLSS, as it's better known, or AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution. Gamers laud NVIDIA's DLSS as one of the best options in AI upscaling technology, which enhances graphics by generating extra frames between existing ones, using AI to improve frame rates and smoothness. The technology runs on the specialized tensor cores of NVIDIA's RTX GPUs and is often paired with NVIDIA's Reflex, which reduces input latency. With AMD's help, Sony developed an NVIDIA DLSS equivalent in the form of the PlayStation 5 Pro's PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, PSSR, as it's better known. PSSR can amplify frame rates for certain games from 60 FPS, seen in the PS5 standard and slim consoles, to a native 120 FPS. Pretty cool, pretty exciting stuff there for sure. That being said, I still can't remember the name of that super popular game. It's not Quake, it's not Doom, but it's something that pretty much everybody knows. And check it out. You can check it out. Or Some Ordinary Gamers did a video on it, like I said, from a couple of months ago. With that being said, we're going to wrap up here today. I just want to give you all a reminder. Head over to Dex Screener. Check out Qzilla and hit that rocket ship. We're almost at 500. Super exciting stuff. If you're not familiar, Qzilla is a meme coin with utility. We have hilarious memes. We have a strong and thriving community. We also have tokenized real-world assets. We have a bunch of awesome NFTs, which provide holders daily drips or monthly drips, depending on which NFT series you're holding, as well as those drips can be had in, I believe, different tokens. We also have paid to raid. So because we are developing something that I can't really talk about too much right now, but we are developing a game that's going to have a second token associated with it. That's going to also be a benefit to people holding NFTs. The game is going to be super fun, and we're going to be building off of that as well. We're working super hard in the back end to get everything happening and out as soon as possible. We did just partner again with XGC Labs for super fast and efficient swaps between XRPL meme coins without needing the base layer XRPL, which is super awesome. And what else can I tell you about Zilla? I mean, if you head over to www.quantzilla.online, you'll be able to check out all our documentation. You'll be able to join our Telegram group with links from there. You'll be able to see pretty much everything that we're doing. You'll be able to buy our NFTs. We have a whole bunch of different NFT series out of the Zillas that look like this. We also have, like I said, tokenized real world assets. Currently, we have a bunch of silver NFTs that are in the style of Magic Gathering cards. They can trade for 0 tax. And obviously, you don't have to hold the heavy metals to do the trading or worry about self-custody in that case. And when you do want to redeem the NFTs, all you got to do is burn the NFT and then pay the shipping and insurance, and you'll be shipped your 1-to-1 back gold, silver, and copper bullion. We are also working on custom copper bullion tokens made with our logos and stuff. So that'll be coming out sooner than later as well. We just have a very small team here. We're dedicated. We're working our asses off to make this a reality, and we have a lot of fun. So if you haven't checked us out, once again, quantzilla.online, check us out there. Make sure you follow, you like, you subscribe, you check me out on YouTube for more crypto content at KhaosDubz. And yeah, y'all have yourselves a great day. Appreciate you tuning in. And we'll see you on the flip side, hopefully another couple of days, and we'll do another news segment. We're going to be working on getting more Twitter spaces going with myself, the co-founder, and our lead dev on Quantzilla, and just doing the thing. Have yourselves a great day, a great weekend, and take care of each other. Don't get scammed. Always do your own research. None of this is financial advice. Best of luck. Bless and love. Bless and love.